What's going on, yo? I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made to Rillaboom for my ROM hack, Pokemon Scrambled Scarlet. So, in this ROM hack, every single Pokemon is massively reworked. I give them all tons of new tools and fun things that they can do, and a lot of that comes from the move buffs and changes, which, when you're done with this video, you can either check out a whole 2 hour long video I have going over all of them, although keep in mind that video is going to be outdated as time goes on because things change. So the best way, and also I would say the easiest and also quickest way to check that out after you're done with this video, don't click off yet because it'll mess up the watch time, but you can check out all of these move categories on the move sheet and it'll jump straight to it, and then it'll help you like understand the categories better. And once you understand the categories, it's a lot easier to understand what all the moves actually do because they're all in categories for the most part. So yeah, every Pokemon's reworked. I highly recommend if you're new here to pause the video and also read the description. I have bullet point lists explaining the balancing in the ROM hack, difficulty, all that good stuff. Most importantly, just the way that I approach balancing and why it is the way it is. So give all that good stuff a look if you haven't already. And if you're returning, I highly appreciate you coming back, watching all the videos. Make sure you all drop a like, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow, helps people see my work. With all that out of the way, I'm going to talk about Rillaboom. So I opted not to make the Galar starters dual type. I think that they are by far the least fitting for dual type in the entire series. Like, at some point I had them as grass normal, and then Inteleon was water dark, and I know somebody's going to say the water ghost Inteleon shit. We could talk about that in the Inteleon video. I ended up it just doesn't feel right, man. Like, it fits enough. Yeah, it's a sound Pokemon. Normal type kind of fits, sure. Like I don't know, he gets tons of normal moves like I level up, I guess, but that doesn't really mean much. I don't know. I just am not a fan of it. I think it's kind of stinky, personally. Um, Not to mention it does technically also overlap with another grass normal now, although that was more of a. Actually, I'm not even sure if that grass normal was gonna have it or not, but I wanted it to have grassy surge at some point. Anyway, I don't know. Like, I'm just not a fan of the combos on them. Like, I think their reaches. I think they fit fine, but like I don't know. I think they're better off as just being pure type in terms of flavor. So I kept it as that, and I know somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, grass ground." Nah, man. The only choice really is what is grass normal. That's the only one I would entertain. Um, so yeah, and then also another thing that irked me with them being dual type is that Cinderace. There's no fucking shot on making that guy fighting, right? I mean, I'm not doing that. Um, so then it's like, okay, two of them are dual type, one of them isn't, and that's kind of stinky to me as well. So I don't know. I think they're better off as being pure type. So I don't want to hark on that too much because there's actually cool buffs and changes and interactions with moves and stuff here that I'd like to talk about. So that's why. If that upsets you, I'm sorry. I fucking hate the Galar stars, but that doesn't stop me from giving them cool stuff, especially Cinderace, even though I really don't like Cinderace. But yeah, Rillaboom. So all three of them now have the ability Expertise, because, I mean, if you look at, I mean, their whole entire origin as a trio is that they're experts on what they're doing, right? Like, they are, um, like, he's an expert drummer, he's like a master drummer, Cinderace is a master, soccer, football player, rugby player, whatever. Not rugby, that's pissing me in. He's soccer, yeah. Fucking, I know somebody's gonna get on my ass for saying that by accident. Rillaboom, Cinderace, and then Inteleon's like a master sniper, secret agent, spy, right? So I think all of them having expertise is really cool flavor-wise, and it's just a good, solid boosting ability. Grassy Surge does boost by more. It's a 1.3 versus a 1.25. However, so they both have their pros and cons, right? So Grassy Surge Pro obviously is Grassy Glide. That's also back to 70 base power. Obviously, in a competitive sense, 70 base power, 125 attack, Grassy Glide is stupid, but this isn't competitive. Not to mention there are tons and tons of other strong priority moves flying around, so it's not like this is. I mean, it is very strong. Don't get it twisted. It's very good. Especially, I would say, especially good because it's a Grassy Glide's a TM, so that's like super early on. You get Grassy Glide. Meanwhile, most other like strong E speed users or whatever other Snipe Shot, Powerball, all these other strong priority moves that Pokemon might get, or Technician boost and stuff, is all usually later on, but not for Rillaboom. So that's cool. So yeah, Grassy Surge gives you a stronger boost on your grass moves, and also it has the benefit of like team support, so you can activate like Terrain Pulse on your allies, you can activate abilities like Grassy Guard, you can get a little bit of healing for your allies, you can override the opponent's terrain. For example, if you're fighting like a boss with Psychic Surge or a boss with Misty Surge is not really, mostly it would be Psychic Surge or like Electric Surge or something you'd want to override. So those are good. And then yeah, that little bit of healing. However, that little bit of healing can also be detrimental to your team as well. So like to the for getting specific ranges. So you don't want to keep that in mind as well. And another thing is that Expertise boosts coverage moves while Grassy Surge does not. So while Grassy Surge is stronger for Grass Stab, Expertise boosts your coverage. Not to mention Expertise has the big benefit of breaking Focus Sashes and all that stuff. So it gives you double effects, right? So in terms of flinch stuff, you could use that to cheese flinches, but I personally would not. It's not really a consistent way of using the Pokemon, so I wouldn't. Um, so mostly I would say like, okay, for example, Expertise Trailblaze gives you +2 speed. Um, is there anything else relevant? Disarming Voice, Dismal Cry, stuff like that will drop attack by -2 instead of -1. The both drops both attacking stats by -2. Lunge does the same thing, -2 instead of -1. So stuff like that is pretty good. Mud Bomber, actually that doesn't work. I was gonna say Bulldoze and Rock Tomb drop speed by like -4 with that. So that's all pretty neat little niche stuff you could take advantage of with Expertise, but mostly you're using Expertise for that extra damage and the fact that it breaks sashes, which is incredible. You know, even just like simple Scarf strong attack into Expertise can like get 2 kills if the sash Pokemon comes in after you kill something, whatever it is. So that's all good. And then Soundproof is a really cool ability. So at one point I had them with Amplifier. And I wanted to, I know, I should have said this earlier in the video. I know somebody's going to comment, why didn't you make them a mixed attacker? Until you realize there is literally no points. There is no base stat points for that. Unless I, like, make him way slower for no reason. Just so he can be, like, a mid-ass mixed attacker. Like, if he was grass normal, and then he gets, like, stab, 120 base power, boom burst. Even that is, like, underwhelming. I don't know. It's just not, especially because he'd be slower. So it's like, what's the point? You can't even, you know, I don't know. It's just not good. So not to mention, it doesn't even make that much sense. I mean, it makes okay enough sense. Like, I did give him strong sound moves very early on. So while Thwacky only has 55 special attack, you still have a 120 base power, no drawback move with Boom Burst. And then Uproar is essentially special fighting type. Outrage lasts for 3 turns, so that's pretty good. So if you got, like, especially if you got, like, Terra Normal or Terra Fighting, that becomes really strong early game. So that's really fun. Of course, 85 attack with the, like, your stronger, you know, Seed Bomb, Razor Leaf, Seed Shot, all that crap is still strong, but yeah. So defensive utility-wise, this guy has lots of really fun tools you can experiment with. So you've got your Leech Seed, your Slack Off early game, you've got your Tickle for debuffing, all that good old, you know, reliable stuff. But you've also got stuff like Branch Leech pretty early on at level 28, which essentially is, as you can read, it's basically Grass type Leech Life, which is also the same thing. You could kind of compare it to like a Draining Kiss, I guess. It heals you by a shitload and it's 60 base power. It heals you by all the damage dealt, so that's an incredible healing move. You've also got Jungle Healing and Endeavor, which is a really cool combo. So Jungle Healing, as you can read, it's a 1 PP priority move, heals you to full. So you can use like Endeavor, get them, you know, to 1 HP, whatever, click Seed Shot, and then click Jungle Healing, and then get back to 1 HP again. And then you can, you know, go from there. So that's a cool little tech you can take advantage of. And in general, just a cool little option for early on, which is why it's pretty early on. Drum Beating is also really cool, so essentially that synergizes, specifically made to synergize with Expertise, but it also synergizes with Grassy Surge, of course, because you still get the damage boost on it. But Expertise Drum Beating is even stronger, so essentially it drops defense by 1, so the total hit, it's kind of like a Wugtrio Triple Dive, right? So you're getting 120 base power overall with Rillaboom Drum Beating with Expertise. So that's really good. It's as strong as Woodhammer. Of course, keep in mind, Expertise Woodhammer is like 25% of 120 divided by 4. 120 divided by 4 is what? Why can't I do math right now? 30. 150. So obviously Expertise Woodhammer is 150 base power, so it's not like I'm trying to say it's stronger, but it is like, for level 36, that's a strong move. Not to mention, if you're trying to like 2-hit KO a really bulky mon, you can click Drum Beating twice, or you can click Drum Beating into Seed Shot. You know, something like that is a pretty good combo. And then you've got your Frenzy Plant, which is like insanely strong. But yeah, Drum Beating, it also drops speed, which is pretty cool. So you get -4 overall, -2 overall for the defense and speed. So that's a really cool move. Battle Cry is great early on. I mean, in general, I mean, it drops attack and special attack by -2, so that's a really good debuffing move. What else is there? I mean, there's tons of little things I would love to cover. Like, I have time, I guess. You got your good old coverage early on, like you could use like Bullet Seed, Pummel, Wallop, Loaded Dice crap at some point. You can use Hoodwink early on for fairy coverage. You've got Play Rough and stuff later. You know, you've got tons of good coverage that you can see on screen. You know, Fighting, Psychic, Bug, Rock, Electric, all this coverage that you can see. Other utility like Encore is really cool. Hammer Arm is really early on, so that'll drop your speed by 1, so you can't abuse like Scarf Hammer Arm, but it is essentially, it's close combat, but it drops your speed instead of defenses, which could be better, especially if you're running like a bulkier set. Not to mention it's significantly earlier than the TM for close combat anyway. And then Takedown is more spammable, but it's only 100 power, quote unquote only. It's still strong, obviously, and it deals a little bit of recoil. But yeah, both of those are good fighting type options. And then we got Strength, which is essentially Rock type Double Edge, which is really good. Brutal Swing, which is Dark type Double Edge, which is stronger than, it's a stronger version of Hell Thrust, which is like a weaker coverage Dark type move. That does slight amount of recoil. Really cool thing here is also Fling. Fling is a really exclusive tool. I give that to only monkey Pokemon and other thematically fitting Pokemon. So it's essentially a free flinch and either a 130 power move or a status with 100 base power. So if you use Flame Orb, Toxic Orb, or Light Ball, you get 100 base power plus the status, and you flinch, and it's priority, right? That's 1 PP, so you can't use it more than once, but it's a really good like single use. You can use it. You can also use it with Fake Out, like Fake Out into Fling, into Seed Shot will kill like anything. You know, you got tons of ways you can abuse it. You can also use it with Grassy Glide, with Grassy Surge. You can also use the Fling to get like a free turn of speed. You can use it purely for utility to get that burn. Whatever it is, it's a very versatile move. So that's super fun. Frenzy Plant is an absolute nuke with Grassy Surge. It's 140 power, physical move. It's essentially physical grass type Draco Meteor, or easier way of saying it is physical Leaf Storm. So Frenzy Plant, super strong option on him, just for blowing stuff up. And then you got Wood Hammer, which is more spammable with like Scarf. He also has like a good HP stat, a very good HP stat, and Grassy Surge will also help offset that Wood Hammer recoil, so you can really like spam Scarf Wood Hammer for a few fights maybe. It is an endgame move, of course, because it's so strong, but you still have it for a good amount of boss fights. You have it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 boss fights, so it's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Otherwise, I mean, obviously, shit like, you know, SD, Bulk Up, Grassy Glide is very good. I don't need to explain why that's good. Earlier on, you could use it in Sun with Growth stuff if you want to take advantage of that. Growth, Grassy Glide, you know, for earlier boosting. I don't know, tons of fun ways you can abuse them. Terra's cool. I think if you got Terra Normal, it'd be really cool, number one, because of, I mean, for early game, you got the Stab Fake Out, you got Stab Double Hit, you've got Boom Burst on Evolution, which is really cool early on for Stab. You got Double Edge Stab, Fling, which is insane. You know, I just think Terra Normal would be really neat to get on him. That'd probably be the Terra type I think would be coolest, but any Terra type is obviously cool and good in this context. So yeah, thanks for listening. Let me know if you made it to the end of the video. I'll be back for the other 2 starters coming up tomorrow at the time of uploading this. So if you're listening to this on the day of, it'll be out tomorrow. So yeah, peace. And leave a comment if you made it to the end as well. Bye.